Finally, the moment a couple of you have been waiting for.
It's all like bing bong, Jack.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Duval and St. Johns County. The show for Jag fans by Jag fans.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
Here are your hosts, Franklin and Michael how you say it? DeZoba. Welcome to the Jaggernaut Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages. Yes, my brother, I do curse. So saying kids, I meant young adults.
Kids
young
at heart.
Teens. Yeah, kids at heart. You know, people that are used to hearing curse words. You know, your mom and dad are probably much worse than I am. So it's okay.
Duval!
There we go. Yeah, you did. I guess I'll get the closing one. Want to welcome you guys in tonight to the Jaggernaut Podcast. It is me, Michael. As always, I got my brother Franklin. Frank, as you know, he's already repping that Duval. That was the first time. I like it, man. I like the energy. You brought it. All right, so tonight we are at our last foe in the AFC South, the Houston Texans. We saved the worst for last because, you know, nobody likes their Brussels sprouts. Actually, Brussels sprouts are pretty good. Lima beans.
Dude.
Nobody likes lima beans.
So if the Texans are Brussels sprouts and lima beans, what are the Jaguars?
Oh, dude, we're like cooked cauliflower and broccoli without cheese.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we're pretty close to the Texans. It's hard to
It's hard. It is. It's hard. It's hard to nail them. It's hard to talk shit about them or talk crap about them when we're just as bad. And we're worse because they swept us last year.
I was gonna say they beat us both times. So
Yep.
well, Vegas has the odds of us winning the AFC South higher than them. They're way
Vegas,
back.
That's right. Vegas has us as winning our over under tag to win is 6.5 games, right? So that's the line. These guys have a 4.5. That's a full 2 games. And I'm telling you, when I started to do my research on this team, I can pretty much see why.
Yeah. I'm not well, let me ask you this. Let's go this direction. You set up the order in which we were going to handle these teams, and you decided Titans, Colts, and Texans. Now, when you did that, did you do that thinking the Titans are the number one team on paper, followed by the Colts, and then the Texans? And did your opinion change at all after having sort of taken the time and digested their offseason changes?
Yes. So really my thinking is we'll start from first to worst is basically how we'll go. We cover the Jags all the time, so we don't need to really put them in there. So then the Titans, they won last year. I think they won the year before. I think they won the year before that. So for the last 3 years, they're the reigning champs. So let's start with them. Let's break them down and find out what they did, how they did it, and what they look like, and then work our way back from there. That was my thinking. And going into it, I was thinking Tennessee, Derrick Henry's healthy. You know, it's going to be normal Tennessee ball, and it still might be normal Tennessee ball. But after me and you, after we did our research, after we did our podcast on them, I get the feeling that they didn't get a whole lot better this year. Now, I say that every year just because I dislike Tennessee, but ultimately, I don't think anybody can look on a sheet, can give me a sheet of paper and put names out there and say, this guy makes us better, that guy makes us better. Nowhere. And if you're a Tennessee fan and you're listening or you're going through and there's somebody you guys acquired that makes you guys a better football team, put them down in the comments. We'll have a discussion on it because I don't think there is.
I agree.
So,
It looked like a change when you figure in the totality of the offseason changes as best you can on paper. We don't know how it will work out and play out for sure, but on paper, it appears the Titans got worse. to me.
Yeah.
I agree.
So stunningly though, because of the way that we had beat the Colts, I was prepared to go in thinking, look, Colts, Jags, that's what I thought going in. Coming out of it, it is Colts, Tennessee, Jags, Texans.
That's a fair way to look at it.
Because the Colts got better on paper. Go back and listen to our podcast on the Colts. It was the last one we just did. They got better. They weren't a bad team to begin with, and they got better. Yeah. So now we move on to the vaunted Texans. And it sucks as a Jags fan to say this team is vaunted. Because really the only team that they're vaunted for or against is us. They come to play us. They're like the effing Hulk.
What'd they get? 4 wins last year?
Yeah, total? 4 and 2 were against us. Yeah. Funny. The other they beat Tennessee though, and then they beat the Chargers. So honestly,
that's
two.
Interesting.
It's funny.
I didn't know that.
Two good quality wins, 2 crap wins. The 2 crap wins against the same team.
Okay, and this is any given Sunday type stuff, right? Because this is the same thing with the Jaguars too. I mean, the Bengals almost won the Super Bowl. So the fact that we should have, I felt like we should have won that game. We played very well against the Bengals. We beat the Bills, that many people see as a very high favorite to win the Super Bowl or to get to the Super Bowl, at least this year out of the AFC. Who else did we win? I'm drawing obviously Miami, the Colts,
Miami,
which
Miami was,
they've got a good squad. It's an average team. But yeah, that was the one win where you can kind of see something like that happening.
Right. And the
Bills
Cardinals
was just an awkward game.
I thought the Cardinals,
we were there, so they came up, the Jags responded. So
and like I said, I thought the Cardinals, the game was all right, I think, until Trevor Lawrence's pick 6.
Yeah, the Cardinals was
it just
another good one to point out.
Astronomically out of control.
And that's the mark of a dysfunctional team.
Oh, and guess who missed the block? Urban Meyer. This is on you, egghead. Carlos Hyde, the guy you had in the game instead of James Robinson, missed his damn block on that flea flicker that caused Trevor Lawrence to throw that ball short. That's on you, a-hole. I hope that man never coaches again. I hope, seriously. I know some college is going to get desperate and pick him up. But look here. If you're a desperate college, you're probably like in the low Pac-12, whatever they are, Big 12, you're going to suck. You're always going to suck. It's not going to make a difference. Until you get people paying, you're always going to suck. You want to win, you want to be Alabama, get people contributing cash. That's how you win in college football. All right, so let's move on. Let's
on to the Texans, man.
Yeah, let's talk about the Texans. New coach,
More
Lovie
Texans.
Smith. Yeah, Lovie Smith, what did he do for you?
If you think about it, he was in the Super Bowl not long ago. Wasn't Lovie Smith and was it Tony Dungy? I thought it was like the first Super Bowl was 2 black head coaches. I was pretty sure Lovie was one of them. When wasn't he the coach of the Bears that year they went to the Super Bowl with was it Rex Grossman? Maybe I don't even. It's been a while.
Yeah, I was about to say, you said recently, and I'm like, dude, that has been a while.
Well,
to me, Lovie Smith has gotten probably 1 or 2 more chances than most head coaches should get. I think this is his 4th.
He's a good coach, though, and this is the thing.
He can be.
Yeah, he's a good coach. Now the question is he better than David Culley?
Hard to say. I think David Culley got a lot out of that team.
I thought he did well. It's interesting. I was listening to some Texans fans, and it's a small sample size, but I thought the Texans fans would have a better opinion of Culley, but they almost, again, small sample size. The ones that I was listening to, they had a negative view of Culley, almost like they were blaming Culley for their misfortunes. I almost wonder if they're a weird, if they're not a fan base that sees their team properly. I just think that Culley,
Jag fans.
No, I think we see our team very well, actually. We know how dysfunctional we are, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Like we always go into the season, off season, hoping, but maybe that's part of their thinking now. I'm assuming they held this opinion last year while they're watching their team. At a certain point, I wasn't quite sure how the Jaguars were looking, but it became apparent it was dysfunctional. And then when everything started leaking out, we never got that from David Culley's side team. He appeared to me to be getting blood out of a turnip, I thought. I mean, so I guess what's interesting is that the Texans fans think they are better than everybody else thinks they are. And so that's interesting to me.
All right. So here we go. Franklin, Texas fans. Mario Addison, Rex Burkhead, Jalen Camp, ex-Jaguar, AJ Cann, ex-Jaguar, Chris Conley, ex-Jaguar, Marlon Mack, Brandon Cooks, Davis Mills. They do anything for you? They move the needle.
Brandon Cooks does.
They move the needle.
And Marlon Mack could. Marlon Mack would if they had an established running back. I think the other guy they've got is Damian Pierce. So they're hoping for their running back squad. You mentioned Rex Burkhead or no? Mm-hmm. I don't remember, but their running back squad is Rex Burkhead, Marlon Mack, and Damian Pierce, who's a rookie from Florida. That does nothing for me. I like Mack. I like the potential of Mack, because when he was with the Colts, he always struck me as a guy who could do stuff when he had the ball in his hand, but he's always hurt. I mean, he's been hurt, I think, every year of his career, and it's only been like a 4-year career. So when you're pinning your hopes on a guy who's often injured and a rookie, again, not sure what the Texans are, why they would be confident.
I agree. Outside of Brandon Brooks, that does nothing for me. And you're what? One dude on defense. One recognizable name on defense.
Who are you thinking of? I don't even remember.
Mario Addison.
Okay.
That's it. Now, I will say that they drafted Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU.
Yeah.
But he's a rookie. Could he play well? Sure, of course. Can he look like a rookie? Sure, of course. And could he suck? Sure, of course. Jury's out on every rookie. So you can't sit here and count him. Same thing. They drafted John Mechie out of Alabama. Yeah. I really liked him. I thought the Jags might do well to get him maybe in the second round, but it just didn't work out that way. But he's hurt. He was hurt last year at Alabama. He's hurt right now. Who knows when he's going to be ready? And again, 3 years for an NFL wide receiver. That's about the transition time frame. It doesn't always take people that long, but that's about the average length.
Did you mention Philip Dorsett?
I did not. Why would I?
He's former Jaguar. He was on our team for a cup of coffee last year, right?
I read his name, but then you're right. A cup of coffee. I put Jalen Camp up there just because I recognized the name. So
yeah, you know what? I forgot he was even on the squad, on their squad. It makes me wonder, because I thought maybe looking at his, he was one of the guys, if you go back and watch the offseason, when we were going over their draft picks last year, he was one of the guys that I had my eye on.
Look at, right?
I thought the film looked good on him, but we'll see. Let me say this. There's a theme in that I'm picking up in the AFC South. It is mediocre wide receivers and running game. That's the AFC South. The AFC South is 1990s NFL football. That's what it is. It's weird. Everybody else is playing a different game. Like we're and it may work out well for us. I don't have a problem necessarily with it, but it's just an interesting observation while everybody's doing these, hybrid exotic passing schemes. Vrabel has got the New England thing trying to take place with the Mack truck of Derrick Henry, the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, and their efficient style of offense. The Texans, nobody would accuse them of being on that level, but based on what I'm understanding, they're attempting to fit right into the AFC South in that way with the Colts and the Texans. And it's interesting. I do think on paper, injuries aside, we have a really great running game and fit very well in that as well. And a mediocre receiving core. That's this year. Last year was horrible. So with Peterson coming in, I'm wondering, could we be the team that is different than the other three? I almost feel like we are. Like, looking at these three teams, I feel like we would be the team that might be running something that looks different than the other three. And I wonder if that works to our advantage.
When we got Peterson, I was happy again. How many years have I been yelling for somebody off the Andy Reid coaching tree? Because I like the offense. I think it's an imaginative offense. Now that could wholeheartedly be Andy Reid. I don't know. However, until the Jags show me something, it's same old Jags. We're going to go in there, or we're going to say, you run the ball, you play good D. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play good D. We'll see who wins. And that's what we're going to try to do. And so now, granted, I hope Peterson's different. I want Peterson to be different. But I thought Urban Meyer might be different. I'm like, man, this dude don't know shit. He's coming in fresh. He's got to have a fresh, crisp, ideal, something. He did. It was his Johnson. He was talking about, what can I do to get my Johnson some play? That's all he cared about, because he was kicking kickers. He was doing all kinds of crap. He got him a few co-eds. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he was addicted to co-eds.
He was the CEO.
Yeah, he was the CEO. So, no offense, but when your company's bankrupt and you're the CEO, it is not a good position, Mr. Meyer. It is not a good position. So anyway, so I did some. So the offense last year was ranked 30th. I didn't see anybody there that moved the needle for me.
No.
That was 30th in points. They were 32nd. They were dead last in yards. Dead last. It's like us and them were fighting to be the worst team in the NFL. Now, granted, we pulled it out by a game, but so the defense, it was ranked 27th in points given up and 31st in yards allowed.
Right. So blame the coach.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there.
Well, we blame the coach, but I think we have valid reasons for doing it.
Here's the best thing you can take. Davis Mills looked better than I thought.
Yeah. I didn't see any footage, so I can't quite say. Are you saying that based on some eye tests?
Yeah, I mean, like I got to watch the Stanford tryout, whatever it's called, the pro day. And I thought, all right, I'm like, the guy ain't all that bad. He didn't look all that bad. His poise was nice. His delivery was nice. It was raining. But I'm like, all that's set up anyway. Then I saw a few games in the preseason, and I'm like, he doesn't look all that bad. And then toward the end of the year, he ended up taking over for a hurt quarterback. And I saw some highlights. Again, just highlights.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that ain't bad. The thing is that if you go from being a third-round draft pick to being decent, that doesn't make you a great NFL quarterback. It just means that you've outplayed where you were technically drafted, what somebody expects to get from you.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Well, he was statistically better than the generational quarterback we drafted.
I agree. But that may be easy to do when you only play 6 games. It may be easier to do when your CEO is worried about his Johnson. There are a lot of factors in this. I still think Trevor Lawrence is better, but I will pay attention to Davis Mills. Davis Mills didn't do anything to me to say he was a scrub and he can't play in the game or he can't play in this league. What he did do is make me stand up and say, this guy might be a decent quarterback. So that's it. But other than that, when I pair him with Mario Addison, Rex Burkhead, Jalen Camp, AJ Cann, John Mechie, Derek Stingley Jr., Chris Conley, Marlon Mack, Brandon Cooks, I still don't see anything to get me excited. I don't see anything to scare me.
As a Jags fan, and this again, to not belabor the point, the complexion of the AFC South appears to me to be a focus. Teams that are focused offensively on running the ball. And now this remains to be seen because we have to see it and not just talk about it or not dream about it. But it appears at least the focus of the Jaguars team defensively is stopping the run. The bodies that I can imagine, I mean, fast linebackers in the back, able to fill holes, and giant human beings up front pushing a pocket. I feel pretty good about that sort of defense against the types of offenses that we have here in the AFC South. I've said this before, the type of offenses that I think we would not fare well against on paper are like Kansas City, maybe somebody
LA?
like the Chargers. What's that?
LA, the Rams.
The Rams. Yeah. The type of scheme, wide receiver, our weakness would appear to me to be on paper is going to be the secondary. And the Texans don't look like a team that I fear. I don't fear Davis Mills to Nico Collins. Now, in the OTAs, they like what they're seeing from him. So that's somebody to keep an eye on. Brandon Cooks is good, but if you've got one guy and you're looking at Nico Collins and John Mechie, who is a rookie and coming off of an injury, again, yeah, I'm okay with that. That's great. Schematically, I like my chances on defense if I'm Caldwell. So that's one thing I took away from it, just schematically. The Jags, so going forward this year, it'd be interesting to see how this defense stacks up against the AFC South competition.
Well, that's something we get to look at. That's something we get to watch. On a different note, because I don't know what else we can really say about the Texans. What else do you want to say?
Let's see. There's some Jimmy G rumors. I don't know if you heard that.
I have heard
Davis Mills. There's a possibility that Jimmy G could come there. That's been a rumor. It's still a rumor, just a rumor, but it's been a rumor for over a year now, and it hasn't gone away. And Nick Caserio, their GM, has some New England ties, so something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. No, but Jimmy G doesn't necessarily scare me or move the needle either. But we'll see. We'll see. I think Jimmy G makes the team slightly better, but maybe not much. If you really like what you're seeing from Davis Mills, why would you mess him up? Why would you bring in a veteran quarterback that you're going to have to pay veteran money to, which means he'll start, and then sit Davis Mills? Now, maybe Mills has the mindset like, okay, that's just more opportunity for me to learn. But he could also be in the mindset that, well, I never got a chance. I did decent last year. I never got a chance to build off of that. You guys are a-holes.
I also think there's one thing that does need to be said about the Texans. And to your point, bringing in Jimmy G may be exactly what you're talking about. Why do you want to rock the boat? You don't have a team that you're expected. You're looking long-term. If you're the Texans, you're not looking to win the AFC South. Your goals that, sure, but you're not looking to win, and nobody's picking you, and that's perfectly fine with where you are. What they need is what we need, which is to get out of the dysfunctional hole that they created for themselves. And this offseason, so far, they've done that with Deshaun Watson going and being the headache for shipping him off, getting picks back, to have him go to Cleveland to become their headache. That's great for them. They Laramie Tunsil is a great left tackle. There was talk, I don't remember how long ago, but he was wanting out. I mean, when the whole Deshaun Watson stuff was still hot and heavy, like he was another one that was wanting out. They calmed that situation. He's on board now. So what I'm saying is there is some stability with the Texans. So even though we look at their roster and we're not blown away by the roster by any means, they're clearly the worst roster in the AFC South. I don't think anyone but other than crazy Texans fans would disagree with that opinion, but they could be better this coming year because they just don't have that dysfunction. And I don't like the fact that they got rid of their coach so fast, because I felt like he was a calming force, but maybe there's things we don't know. I think Lovie Smith's a good coach. He's a calming force too, but he was already there anyway. So it's not like he was, like they brought him in to be a calming force. He was already on staff. So, so it'd be interesting to see. I think they may do okay in the games, but I think odds are the Vegas probably has them right as far as where it'll stack up come the end of the year. I don't think they're going to get more than 5 games under their belt. But I think they could be competitive. I think they may be a team that could be looking to make some waves next year, especially if Davis Mills turns out to be what you're talking about. If he doesn't, then they won't. But if he does, then, Well,
like I said, he's earned more playing time in my eyes. In my eyes, I want to see what he's got.
I mean, anyone that can play under the circumstances that they had last year, that only adds. I mean, that's the thing we're hoping on or banking on with Trevor. It's like all that nonsense, and people just, it's funny. This conversation happens with us in our little friend group, but also broadly, people really don't understand how amazingly dysfunctional the Jaguars were. And they've been dysfunctional for decades, but even more so last year, coupled with the slowest wide receivers in the league. I don't think there's a slower group of wide receivers in the league than us last year. I challenge anybody to tell me what NFL roster was slower than our wide receivers. And we dropped everything. So you put a quarterback, I don't care who you are, you put Tom Brady in that. You aren't having Tom Brady conversations. You're gonna be saying what's wrong with Tom Brady. Now, he ain't gonna be as bad as what Trevor looked, because Trevor's a rookie. But you throw a rookie into that mess, and look, Davis Mills had a little bit of that he had to deal with last year. So if he showed poise, if he started improving, then the Texans may have somebody on their hands.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I'm not necessarily going to blame the receivers. I think early on it was a little bit Trevor, it was a little bit receivers. I think honestly, it was a lot of Dirty Sanchez, man. He killed us.
Well, that's everything. Imagine, you could have the best quality meat on a sandwich. If it's in between 2 disgusting moldy pieces of bread, you're not. So Trevor was sandwiched between bad performers and bad schemers. You're not executing your way out of that, not consistently.
Right. No, fair
what
point.
We saw
fair
were
point.
glimpses of his ability. That's all in that situation, that's all you could ever hope to see, in my opinion.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice. Well, so I did some research, and of course, nobody contacted me about getting me my press credentials. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are holding training camp at Episcopal Church. It is not, I repeat, not open to the public. Therefore, we will have to count on all the garbage talking heads in our local area who lie. That includes your man Logs. Well, Logs doesn't lie, but he doesn't really tell the truth either. So that includes him. That includes all the people in our one radio station. So, I mean, I guess it's easy to be the official station of the Jags when you're the only station.
Now there's another one, I think.
If they are, I don't know who they are. But training camp starts on July 26th at Episcopal. Dude, as in 6 days, we are right around the corner. So I think we have gotten through the dead zone. I don't know if what topic you want to discuss. We'll get on Discord or text, and we'll talk about the next topic for our show. I don't know.
So are you going to listen to the talking heads, or are you just going to leave that up to me?
No, I always listen to the topic head,
Okay.
to the talking heads. I mean, I listen to everybody, but when it comes to people who I mentioned, I always take it with a grain of salt. I always like Loggerman. I don't discredit what he's saying. I think it's a whole lot of coach speak. And I think he's already been bought and paid for, and that's the problem. I think if he came out and said, no, this guy's garbage, like this guy's horrible. And I know he has seen players who have been bad. But he's never said that. He's never come out and said, this guy is just, I don't know what they're thinking. No, and that's just it. He's bought and paid for, and he is one of those people who has a voice, has a platform to say his voice. So therefore, he's got to be careful with the divas. Everybody in this industry is a diva. Everybody. You can't say anything bad about, or they'll never talk to you again. So I sort of understand it, but dude, come on.
I understand it more than you do, I guess, because I'm not going to sit there. Somebody comes in and they suck, like you said. I'm not going to sit there and go, dude, he's terrible. Like,
why?
Well, because
if terrible's right, if terrible is what it is, why not just say terrible?
You just have to look. Here's the thing, because for one, it's not specific. It's just a character assassination. Well, I say character, but it's some sort of it's just a slanderous way to talk about somebody when they're there and they're trying to make a squad. And look, they're trying to make the team, and you're pushing the public against them. Let the coaches figure out who's going to do. There has to be that aspect. What you can do, and what he does do, in my opinion, you can't talk about everybody. And there's some stuff you just don't see, So what he can do is he can say, and you can listen to him. You'll know. He'll pause. He'll say like, well,
But that to me is.
But
horseshit.
he's not. It's not his job to make people pariahs and say, oh, this is the guy we're supposed to hate, or this is the guy who's going to suck.
It is his job to heap praise when praise is warranted. It is his job to call out poor coaching decisions, and poor plays, poor players. All that's his job.
Yeah.
He does it great on one side. He loves to heap praise. He'll tell you this dude's a great blocker, or this guy looks like this. Sweet. Then give me 100% the other way too when it's warranted. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I guess I just, with player evaluation, you're gonna. I feel like he does player evaluation.
And my main problem.
I mean, think about on the internet.
That a lot of people look to him because he's an ex-player. They look to Tony Baselli because he's an ex-player. They look to who's the other guy, McManus, because he's an ex-player. But these guys don't do what you say. They don't harp on. They don't player assassinate another guy who's trying to make the wrong.
Yeah, and I don't think they should.
Look, Tavion Bryant was fucking garbage. Somebody in the local media should have called him out as garbage. Tavon Bryant, whatever.
Right.
Somebody.
Man, you're
nobody.
Dude, let him go.
Yeah, he is. He's gone to Cleveland. I'm using that as my point. Who locally, besides me, called him for what he was?
Everybody. Everybody but John Ogier, or there's people who don't who aren't critical in any capacity. Somebody like Ogier.
Look, I'm fine. Don't be critical just to be critical. But if there is something wrong, stand up and say there's something wrong.
They've talked about Taven Bryan a lot, man. You're just ultra critical. You love like dirt on people. You want somebody like airing dirty laundry, and I get your point, because here's what bothers me. Somebody will get released and then I'll talk trash.
Oh, wow.
I don't like that. Like, okay,
we can't do it when they're here.
Yeah.
That's just character assassination.
I know. But that's the thing that bothers me, where it's like all of a sudden it's free to go ahead and say things now you're now revealing you knew when they were on the roster or on the coaching staff. You'll say it now when they're gone. I don't like that. It's like,
yeah,
whatever.
outside of the guy who I won't name, there was Blake Bortles too.
Yeah.
I mean, no one but me came away from training camp saying this guy throws the ball like we do. They all said, "Oh, well, he can work. He's 6'6". He's got his big. He's mobile.
He's tough."
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
can he throw?
Look. Everybody fell for Blake Bortles to a certain extent for a certain period. Dude, we watched a preseason game, his rookie season, and we watched him go down the field throwing. And what did I say? I've always said, maintain this too. I don't care about the spiral so much, because Peyton Manning never threw the tightest spiral, but he threw it to the point where it needed to go. The problem with Bortles was he was inaccurate.
All right. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that like, subscribe button. If you want more content, drop us a comment. We do talk whenever we get a comment. I don't think we've actually gotten a comment. But hey,
Alexis,
we will get a comment.
We got to do better on social media.
Yeah, I know.
We get no help out there from you people.
Oh, there's my ending Duval. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Bye.
See ya.